Bitcoin is up 12% today and currently sitting at 34,000. I did a video not too long ago when Bitcoin was trading at 17,000 and said I thought it was a good deal because of this. This is a Bitcoin rainbow. Now, Bitcoin has always seemed to manage to trade within this little rainbow. All right, you can see here it hits the highs and that's where it's like maximum bubble territory, and then it gets to lows where it's basically a fire sale. And you can basically see where it is today, where it is trading at the low end of the rainbow. Now this chart is set all the way out to just past 2030, and you can see the numbers here. If it follows this Bitcoin rainbow, which it has never deviated from since its inception, the low end in late 2031 is 198,000 a Bitcoin. The high end, 1.3 million. All right. Now you might think, okay, that's just insanity. It's not going to get to that point, except for one small thing. It has not ever deviated from this rainbow. It has always followed this rainbow. So even though it has doubled since I talked about it last time, there is still a possibility that this continues, okay? Now, as a sports bettor, I look at expected value, okay? And at the end of the day, if you were to invest at 34,000, and I have to say, not investment advice, etc., but if you were to invest today, even though it just went up 12%, that your upside could potentially be one of these numbers for owning one Bitcoin at 34,000 today. It could be the low end in 2031 at, 198,000, or it could be $1 million if it stays within this rainbow, which it always has. Okay? But what's your downside? 1x. Your downside is 1x. Your downside is that Bitcoin somehow goes to zero, even though it's being adopted by governments. The US government is about to pass an ETF, etc. That's your downside. 1x of your investment. What is your upside? Many times your upside. Okay? So there is value in that. As a sports bettor, I am okay risking $34,000 today for the upside potential long term by 2031. Okay? October 15, 2031, if it stays within this range of this rainbow chart, for it to be 198,000 up to as high as $1.7 million. Okay? Now there's one more thing I have to tell you about why I think it's still a good investment, even today. We have a halving event coming up. Now, if you're not familiar with what halving is, Google it, do some research. Don't just blindly invest because you saw some guy in TikTok tell you to do that. Do some research, okay? But a halving event is basically where the difficulty of mining Bitcoin doubles, all right? So it is twice as difficult to mine it, and that expected halving date is April 24th, 2024. Now let's take a look back at our rainbow chart, and let's look at every single halving event that has happened to date and what happened just after that. All right, now these little lines on here that you might not have noticed the first time I posted this, these are halving events. These are where the difficulty increased. And we can see here after halving event 1, it went back all the way up to maximum bubble territory. Now we have another halving event number 2, and it went to maximum bubble territory. Now after halving event number 3, it didn't make it all the way up to maximum bubble territory, but it made it to the high end of the rainbow. Now we are sitting down at the bottom, almost where we were here at this halving event, and this halving event, and this halving event. But now we're about to have, yes, another halving event. And what can we expect in the following 6 to 18 months? Another climb to a high. So at the end of the day, guys, as I said before, not investment advice. I told you guys at 17,000, this was a hell of a deal. Ended up going down to, I think, 15,800. And now here we sit at, what are we at? 34,000, okay? These are ridiculous numbers. And to me, as a value investor, as a sports bettor, I don't care about the 1x down. If I have a possibility of finding this kind of upside value. And that's what I have to say about Bitcoin.